Hi again. I'm going to continue to talk about the genes, the cells, and the mutation, and then try to see if we can figure out why would a mutation occur. So we talked about that there are 3.4 billion genes, out of which only 20 or 25,000 genes are involved in the protein production. Whenever there is a change in the sequence in these genes, as you recollect, the genes are small piece of DNA. Whenever there is a change, it is called mutation. Now, certainly a mutation can occur because of external environment, like radiation or exposure to chemicals, or it could be spontaneous, which means it occurs without any obvious reason. One of the genetic mutation that I can explain it to you, and though not everybody in this field as so-called expert agree with the reason for it, is the sickle cell. The sickle cells are shaped not like a round, like a disc, but are like sickle. So they become resistant to parasite of malaria. In malaria, parasites affects the red cells, and they invade the red cells, they destroy the red cells. And so having a sickle-shaped red cells was an advantage. So maybe that the mutation in Africa occurred in the red cells or hemoglobin, which is called sickle or cell hemoglobin or hemoglobin S. And those cells became resistant to malaria parasite, and that was an advantage. However, in doing so, the disadvantage occurred where while they were passing through a small capillaries, they got easily trapped and destroyed, which causes sickle cell crisis. So in a way, the mutation was to help prevent malaria parasite attack, but it ended up doing damage to the host as well. I can understand that part. But then there are some mutations. The one that I mentioned in my last video was MAOA mutation, which occurs in X chromosome. There is really no advantage to the host, and I'm not sure why that mutation would have occurred. There's another commonly known mutation called breast cancer gene. So in short, it's called BRCA1 and BRCA2. The studies have shown that this genetic mutation, which is transferred from father as well as mother, or both of the parents are capable of transferring these genetic mutation to their kids or offsprings, puts them at a very high risk of developing breast cancer as well as ovarian cancer. In men, it also can cause prostate cancer at a higher incidence. Recently, there was a study which showed that lymphomas can also occur at a younger age with this particular genetic mutation. So essentially, this is a gene mutation which is bad for the host. Having this mutation does not help anybody, but then why does this mutation occur? The interesting part about this particular gene, that is BRCA1 or breast cancer gene 1 and breast cancer gene 2, is that it does not have 100% occurrence in the kids. So not all the children or offspring born from a father or a mother who has this genetic mutation get it. The question is, why is it that they do get it? And when they do get it, why not everybody develops the cancer? And I think the answer lies in karma. If you remember, at one time I had said that the karmic effect in this life is like a highway with 4 lanes. To some extent, the direction and the traffic is predetermined because of our previous life's karma, but we have free will to change the lane, to take an exit, or even to slow down the speed by our effort or free will. And this is very important to remember. If you remember when I was talking about MAOA gene mutation, I stated that when the children who had that mutation and were exposed to loving, caring parents, they did not become antisocial or criminal. So they were disposed to certain environment and gene mutation which is based on their karma, but the effort and the other karmas which prevented them from actually having the bad outcome. The same thing could be said about the breast cancer gene, that even though they were predisposed to developing breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or other cancers as I mentioned, because of some efforts or some other karmic effect, the resultant was they had propensity for developing it, but they avoided it or they got it, one of the two. This is an important distinction that one has to develop. So let me give you an example to understand this briefly. As I was talking about it, that if the house is constructed in New York, Seattle, Orlando, or India, or South American countries, they all will have the same structure of bricks, mortars, trusses, paint, etc. So now you can imagine if there is an electricity, we have electrical outlets. And the electrical outlets in the previous generation houses had simple function to plug in an equipment. Now that we have all the new requirements of charging our cell phones and iPads and computers, new houses have areas where it is called charging station. So you could consider charging station as a mutation or variation in the building of a house that has occurred, which helps the organism to have negotiate and live in that house better. Same thing can happen in the cells or the genes. Certain mutations could help to survive better and live longer, or would have a advantage over those who do not have that mutation. But this also occurs at times spontaneously, where we have no way of knowing why did a particular mutation occur. And the only way that I can explain it is that the way in which the effects of the genes occur is predetermined because of several karmas which actually lead us to a particular life where with our efforts, our desires, and our additional karmic effects, as well as our parents' karmic effect, can alter the outcome. That's why there is hardly any gene, whether you consider diabetes or for that matter even the breast cancer genes, are not 100% guaranteed to have their effect. So one can talk about penetration, effectiveness, weak, strong, etc. on these genes, but certainly my own thinking is that because of certain karmic effects, we are born with certain genes, and we ourselves give this to our kids, but our kids also have certain mutations spontaneously occurring between my genes, my wife's genes, and my kid's gene. And these are related to certain karmic effects, and the effect of this finally comes as a resultant of several karmas, not one, several karmas, and the efforts or the free will that is put forward by the host. So I'll talk briefly about this in my next video. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you like this and you will subscribe, and look forward to doing more videos. Have a nice day.